Alright, admit it, we all dream of crossovers from time to time. From comic book superheroes coming together to two mascots coming together in a video game, the idea of having person A meeting person B in an actual product is really freaking cool. One of the best crossover series has to of course be the Super Smash Bros. Series, the Nintendo fighting game that literally everyone's talking about nowadays. The premise is simple. Using Nintendo's vast variety of characters, you take them and you throw them into an original fighting game that's not only simple enough for anyone to play, but also brings in big crowds at fighting tournaments like EVO. The second game in this series, Super Smash Bros. Melee, is still being played to this day, and I honestly believe it's never going to die. It will be the year 2021, and Melee, being over 20 years old, is still going to be played at major tournaments. The game will never die. So with the announcement of a new Super Smash Bros. Game for the Nintendo Switch, with people expecting a roster of over 60 characters, I thought why not take a look at the original Super Smash Bros. Released in 1999 for the Nintendo 64 and see how the series began. One of the personal highlights for any Super Smash Bros. Game for me is the opening, just a small teaser upon booting the game that can somehow hype people up for hours of smashing, and for first time players, it explains everything you need to know about the game. You have these Nintendo giants duking it out from locations across their respective games, and of course, you got that iconic scream at the end. They seriously need to bring this back for the Nintendo Switch version. As already mentioned, Super Smash Bros. Gameplay is where you pick your favorite Nintendo character and you have them duke them out with others. Smash does not rely on the standard life bar system in games like Street Fighter or Tekken. Instead, an entirely new fighting game style was invented, what I call the Smash system. The more damage you take, the higher your percentage grows, and your knockback is also increased. The only way you die is if you're knocked off screen. Stages vary a lot with platforms, and if the controls not being your standard 6-button fighting game, Smash will have you believe it's a platformer rather than a fighter. Speaking of buttons, you only have two that you can actually attack with, your A and B button, and what moves you do are simply decided by what analog stick direction you have it in, and then what button you press. B moves are more special based, like Mario's B is a fireball attack, but his up B allows Mario to do an upwards fist attack, like a recovery. So let's say you use two of your jumps and you're falling off the stage. If you do an up B, you might have a chance to make it to that ledge. So while gameplay is not as complex as your Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat, the mobility and performing actions is a lot greater. Use stage terrains also to your advantage, like Hyrule Castle's huge size and Tornado Hazard. Grab your opponent, toss him into the tornado, and watch him fly into the background. With the very simple pick up to play gameplay style, the only way to truly get good at Smash Bros. Is picking a character and sticking with them. Even though there's only 8 characters and 4 unlockables, you should still find a favorite. To represent the Mario series, we have Mario, Yoshi, Donkey Kong, and Luigi. To represent the Zelda series, we have Link. Metroid, we have Samus, Star Fox, well, Fox, and the new hit sensation that was sweeping the world at the time, representing the Pokemon series, we have Jigglypuff and Pikachu. There are also 2 characters which honestly no one knew. At the time these 2 characters were not really known. We had Ness from the Mother series, which outside Japan had a very limited release of the second game, Earthbound, and Captain Falcon from the F-Zero series. As a kid, I never knew who these 2 were, but thanks to Smash Bros, I soon enough tried their games and became a fan of their respective series. That some Smash is also quite popular for, giving the spotlight to lesser known Nintendo franchises. In fact, Melee could be responsible for really kicking off the Fire Emblem craze, as Martin Roy's introduction in the 2001 release really sold Fire Emblem in the West. But if I had to pick a favorite from Smash Bros 64, it would have to be Mario or Ness. I also occasionally played Pikachu when I was a kid, but only in Smash Bros 64. I'm really not a fan of it in the later entries. There are characters I wish were included in 64. Yeah, I was born in the early 2000s, but even as a kid, I never heard of Melee because of lack of internet access. So I always thought besides the 4 unlockable characters, there should have been more, like Deity and Bowser. But actually, they were planned to be included in Smash 64 along with Mewtwo, but were scrapped due to restraints. So with the fighting mechanics and characters out of the way, what game modes do you have? Well, you got Classic Mode, which is your standard fighting arcade mode that has you progress through 12 matches, containing 1-on-1s, 2-on-2 team matches with a random CPU, a 3-on-1 against a giant Donkey Kong, a brawl against the Kirby team, which is a bunch of Kirbys with the ability of the fighters you have unlocked, a 30-on-1 battle against a fighting Polygon team, a showdown against Metal Mario, which is just a Mario clone, however, he takes an crazy amount of attacks to KO, and has a really cool stage and theme. Finally, you have a final battle against Master Hand, the giant hand that I swear is the icon from the Kirby series that is just now out for revenge. Classic mode, while enjoyable for short bursts, doesn't offer that much in terms of replayability because characters don't change in between matches. You always start off with a 1v1 with Link, and you always end off with Master Hand. The other main mode is Versus, where you have 3 buddies gather around for hours of smashing. This is my favorite part of the series and many can agree because Smash Bros. Thrives in the local multiplayer scene. You can either do a time-based system where the most KOs at the end decides the outcome, or you have a stock system, and it's really cool to do a one-on-one with no items to truly decide who's the better player. It's a very nostalgic time just sitting around the television cursing, booing, and cheering after each match. Besides classic mode and versus mode, you got 2 sub-modes, target test and board the platforms, and they're alright. I mean, I enjoy them when they show up in classic mode as bonus stages, but I never go and willingly play them in the main menu. Besides, honestly, you don't play Smash Bros for the single player content, you play it for the multiplayer. What else can I say? Super Smash Bros. For the Nintendo 64 was such a huge success and a great game that has slated Nintendo as the king of local multiplayer. It had 3 sequels released with a new one coming this year, and the third entry, Brawl, still stands as the second best sold fighting game in history, with the 3DS iteration standing in third. While Super Smash Bros. 64 may seem slow and limited compared to the later games, I still recommend you check it out right now before the newest entry for the Nintendo Switch comes out. It might be hard to find because cartridges for the Nintendo 64 go for about $40, and while it's $10 on the Wii Virtual Console, that service is ending really soon and adding to your fun stop next week. So this is a crossover brawl you don't want to miss. If you guys enjoyed this small quick look at Super Smash Bros, be sure to leave a like and subscribe for future reviews. I have social media links and a Patreon down below, and finally, I am Cybershroom, and as always, I hope you have a good one.
Congratulations!